Here is the box that contains the items that I ordered from HobbyKing. It's mostly LiPo batteries and different types of glue. And I can get easily excited about glue and batteries if they are for my airplanes, and they are. But today, that's not what I'm excited about. I am excited about this. What is this? This is HobbyKing EZIO 800 glider, electric glider. And let's open it up. Now, why did I order this? Well, first of all, it was on sale. I think I paid $57 for this. And right now, when I checked the HobbyKing website, it is listed for $82. But I have seen videos saying that people bought it as cheap as $15 during some sale. Yeah, that's extremely low, but I think for a 3-channel electric glider that comes plug and play, you know, $57 is a good price. And it's mostly balsa and plywood, and it is nicely covered. And the other thing is, most of the 3-channel airplanes are rudder turning. This actually has ailerons. So there's one servo at the center of the wing controlling both ailerons. And so the rudder is, so there's no rudder, there's just a vertical stabilizer. There are the decal sheet. There is a nice 1-page instruction manual. I think it should be descriptive enough. It shouldn't be too difficult to build this. I don't even think that I'm going to need glue or anything. It's just some screws. Battery hatch came out off, and it's supposed to be magnet operated. I'm looking at the magnet. This doesn't have a magnet, this hatch side. Is this the magnet over here on the other side? Yeah. So it kind of, they didn't put it together well. I think they didn't stick it well, so I had to glue it back again. So that's not great. It's a minor issue, but again, attention to details is everything. And other than that, let's not lose this little magnet in the hatch. Other than it's very nicely covered. I don't see any creases over here. The vertical stabilizer seems to be sheet balsa with some holes. I don't know if you can see the holes. If I hold it towards the light, you can probably see them over here, like there's 6 of them, to lighten it up a little bit. And I can see that there is a hole over here, which is, I'm assuming, for a screw to hold the vertical stabilizer in place. And this should be the control rod coming for the elevator from this tiny little servo, very small. And it's a mix of some thin plywood and the balsa wood on the side, and looks like also on the top, covering it. And another thing I heard online is this was very flimsy, the prop and the prop adapter. We'll see about that. And then whatever you choose for a receiver, it needs to fit in here. So it already has a ESC in there. And here is the horizontal stabilizer and the elevator surface. again, looks like sheet balsa, some lightning holes on the horizontal stabilizer. The hinge is a tape hinge, clear tape, you can see. And the horn is already installed on the elevator, and this is one of the screw type. It will make adjustment easy, just unscrew. But you know, these are notorious for loosening it up, so I have to definitely use some thread lock on this one. And then there is a one hole. This is for attaching this onto the fuselage. Let's get the wing out. And the covering seems to be nice. I don't see too many creases. Maybe it can use the gun, the hot gun, or the iron in a couple locations, but yeah, around here maybe. You can see the crease there, or a little bit of creasing over here. But other than that, it looks pretty nice. Very smooth. And I should also have the proper sized battery for it. And this should be one of those. I believe I ordered a 300 milliamp hour battery. I watched a couple videos and read a couple reviews saying that anything larger won't fit. You'll have trouble fitting in. So this is Turnitin Nanotech 300 milliamp hour 2S. That's 7.4 volt battery with continuous 35C and burst 70C discharge. And looks like it's going to fit okay. Receiver I'm planning to install here, and then battery and ESC will be in the front, so there's no interference. So let me bring my receiver, put the battery on charging, and I'll come back to put everything together. I got this little one, tiny little one. It's a 4-channel, no name, and a little bit of search showed me that this is Redcon CM421. This cost $11.75, shipped, free shipping. If you hold it like this, the side with all the integrated circuit facing you and the pins just pointing to the right. This one on the bottom, these pins are for bind plugs as well as for power. And then it goes throttle, ailerons, elevator, and rudder. And I'm going to test it now just to make sure. Good old Spectrum DX6i, and I already dedicated, let's see which channel I dedicated, I think. The model memory 4 to EZIO 800, I already typed it in, but I haven't bound it yet. I just typed in the name, so you have to do the binding. And to do that, I'm going to start by first putting the bind plug here, this one, and then I'm going to connect this plug coming from the ESC, electronic speed control, on the first one. And by the way, the signal, if you look at like this, the signal pins are on top when you look like this. So the white one will come to the top, so this will also provide the battery. And then next will be the ailerons. So the yellow is the signal just facing up. And then should be the elevator, and the elevator is this one. Plug that one in. Again, the yellow signal data wire facing up. And if I now connect the battery, it should be blinking quickly. Yes, it is blinking quickly. And now what I have to do is bring in my transmitter and hold this for binding and then turn it on. So it's bind mode. Let go of that and see. It's now blinking, not as fast, goes off, and it should come back on. Okay, make the beep. Let's test the ailerons. Yeah, ailerons are moving. Again, I have to tighten those screws that latch onto the control rod. So this one is kind of moving, but yeah, this servo is moving. Aileron. And then this should be elevator. So this servo should be moving. It is moving. And then again, you can see that control rod, the bottom is coming in and out. And now I'm carefully going to test throttle. Set this up like this. And it's turning. Great. So what I need to do now is unplug the battery, unplug the bind plug. We don't want to leave it in the bind mode. And the others ones are all in already. And then plug the battery again. And solid. Ailerons, elevator, and throttle. They're all working, 3 channels, perfect. Now the receiver is out of the way, it's time to start the assembly going. But before I start putting the parts together, I just want to make sure that I have the CG marked on the fuselage. As I mentioned, the instruction manual tells where it needs to be. It says 65 millimeters from the leading edge at the fuselage. So just going to put a mark on both sides so I will know how to test it. First I'm going to put the tail feather in, which is the horizontal stabilizer. And I'm just going to need this one screw to hold it in place. There's only one metal screw for the horizontal stabilizer and 2 plastic screws for the wing. It just needs to stay in place. I don't think, even if I didn't put the little screw, I think it will have stayed in place. Okay. Next is going to be the wing. Let me try to show you how everything looks from this angle. So the receiver is all the way inside, and the antenna is going through that hole underneath. And the leads are going this way to the ESC, the main throttle lead, and then this is the battery connector. All good. Before I put the wing on, let's quickly check everything is working. And then carefully test the throttle. All good. Let's unplug the battery. Put the wing on. This is easier than I expected. I think the most difficult part is going to be putting on the decals. Yeah, that's like a precision job. The back side there's like a gap, and I'm hoping that if I push it a little more, this is going to go in, and once the holes line up and on the screw, this is going to go in. It's really snug. So you see there's almost like no gap. It's really snug fit. I wish they came up with a better solution, or maybe make both sides of these screws metal instead of one side metal, one side plastic. Not a great combination. Definitely not. Alright. I'm going to try it again. And if it still doesn't go in, I may have to find another way of attaching the ring. Yeah, this part I didn't like at all. I thought this would be easy peasy, but it's not. And it's stressing me out right now. Alright, I don't know if you can see it, but there is a little bit of a gap on this side. And if you look to the other side, the gap is less. More on this side. Also, the vertical stabilizer seems to be a little crooked. Yeah. For the price, as long as it flies well, I don't care if it's a little crooked. As long as it doesn't affect its flight characteristics too much. The wing is a little, seems to be a little higher on the right than on the left. So, all right. Not great build quality. So out of 5, probably I'll give it 3. I was really hopeful about when I saw that all the pieces and parts looking so high quality. I hope I didn't strip this because it's turning too easily. I think the proper way of doing this would have been giving some, really nice soft spacers, and then providing metal screws, and then just in the instructions saying do not over tighten or something like that. Okay. Well, I think there is one other thing left to do before putting on the decals, and that's I have to fix this battery hatch. Alright, I think it's all done. So we have everything except the linkages. So that I'm going to do next. Let me first test the battery hatch. Oh, this came off. The little tab came off because they covered it all around. Or it's like plastic? Yeah. Alright. One more thing to do then. Now I have to glue this over here. Hopefully all good now. Let's see. Yeah, it holds really tight. Holds really tight. And now I'm going to connect the battery. Of course, turn on the transmitter first. Connect the battery and see how the fit is. People are complaining that the batteries don't fit inside. Well, there's plenty of space in my opinion. So the battery is kind of put in here, and it's just in the front, and there's plenty of space. I think I can fit a much larger battery as well. But the most important thing right now is the CG, center of gravity. It's supposed to be here. Oh yeah, it's, and I hold it like that, it's way too much tail heavy. This won't fly too much. Slightly nose heavy, which I like. Okay, made it heavier, unfortunately. Let's see how much heavier. I'm quickly weighting these balancing weights. So I'll be putting this as well as this one together. Weighing grams. This is 18 grams. So this will add an extra 18 grams. It is what it is, but hopefully once I get the new battery, it will take care of it, and I will have much longer flight time as well. In the last 1 hour or so, I have been trying to get the control linkages fastened in place. It has been super difficult because these linkages, if you look at these little screws, they don't go all the way in. So if you try to tighten them while it is on it like this, you either end up breaking something or stripping the head. So what I had to do is I had to take this black retainers off. They're plastic or some kind of like soft plastic, and then take these off. Use 2 pliers, one as a vise, the other one to force the screw into that nut with a hole in the middle. And I could only do so much with the screwdriver, because after a while it just makes it very difficult, and then you get into trouble by stripping the head. So I was holding the nut part, the brass part, with this, and then rotating the screw all the way in beyond the point where it's going to squeeze onto that little wire. And then when I backed out, it was okay. Then I was able to actually tighten it. Before that, I couldn't tighten any of these. I had to do all the same with all 3 of these. So these are super difficult. If you get one of these, and you probably should buy higher quality versions of these linkages or these tighteners, connectors, and then replace these. These are crap, really. I was afraid I was going to break something because I was applying so much pressure, so much force. Anyway, it is all set except one other thing. Yeah, fun never ends with this. So now, I don't know if I can show this to you, but I'm just going to hold this like this and then just turn on this a little bit. As you can see, it is pushing backwards. It's rotating backwards. So what I have to do is I have to swap one of the wire. This is brushes, so it has 3 connectors. I have to swap 2 of the connectors. So I swapped 2 of these black wires. There are 3 going. One is on top. You cannot even see. It's rotating the right way, correct way. I'm probably turning properly. All right. It took much longer than I expected. I've been working on this for a couple hours. Now it's time to put on the decals finally. HobbyKing EZIO 800 is finally all completed with decals and all. I'm charging the second battery over there, and so we'll be ready to maiden it tomorrow morning. And not too much on the bottom. Most of the decals are on top and on the sides, but it looks much better this way. It's a little bit of color. I love the scheme of red and black over white. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you in the second video when I'm going to do the maiden flight. Take care.